Hello and good morning. If you guys can hear me okay, type something in the box and let me know. I am Marcus, your host, the affiliate marketing dude, as they call me around these parts. And today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to write the perfect blog post for profit. So, if you are ready to rock and roll and you want to learn to build blog posts that make money, type something in the box. Type blog for money. And we're going to get this show on the road, get it rocking and rolling. And I got to tell you, this is different than what you're going to hear everywhere else, because everywhere else, people are focusing on content for content's sake, just to have filler content. We're talking about content to get money, because after all, isn't that why you're here? Don't you want to learn to make money? You don't want to just write content on the internet. If you did, you'd like go write books for, I don't know, the library or something like that. We're talking about how to blog for money. We're going to show you how it works. We're going to show you the real way to get started, the real way to make a blog post, and the real way to lead your readers into things that make you money, which at the end of the day is the important part. If you're not getting paid, it's not going to work, right? So you got to focus. You got to pay attention. And TX says he's learning something from every danged video. All right, well, hopefully you learn from the non-danged videos too, because there's a lot to learn here. And today is no exception. You're going to learn a lot of stuff. Now, what I want to do is I want to kind of preface this. I want to preface it to talk about how this works. I want to preface it to talk about how blog posts work, because years ago, back when I started affiliate marketing and internet marketing back in 1999, I studied a lot of things. Okay, I've always been an avid reader. I love to read. I like to study. I like to learn. And we got to look at that, okay? So I went out there, and I'm like, I'm going to learn how to do affiliate marketing. At the time, I was completely broke. I lived in the living room of a mobile home, and I had like $50 to my name. Probably not even $50. It depended on the day, right? If a guy paid me, maybe I got a little bit more, or if I did a magic show. But at any rate, I wanted to learn this marketing stuff. And what I did is I started to study direct response advertising. What is direct response advertising? Direct response advertising is the ability to get a response directly. Gabriel, ask that question in the support system. They'll help you out. We got like 5 people on the support tickets now. So if you need help, you got to go over there. They're always there. They're checking it out. Okay? So back then, I was there and I was doing this stuff and I was reading about direct response advertising. And direct response advertising is the goal of being able to go out there, make an ad, and get a response directly. So when I was doing magic shows, I would run an ad, and then as soon as the ad ran, I would get phone calls, right? That was the idea. Now, I knew right away if the ad ran and I didn't get phone calls, my ad sucked. Like that, I knew that. I'm like, okay, my ad didn't work or whatever. So I knew that that was the reason. So direct response is the art of getting a response directly to a piece of advertising. Now, in addition to direct response advertising, if you guys look at like newspapers and periodicals and tabloids and things like that, magazines, what you're going to notice is oftentimes you will go through and you, Gabriel, go to the live chat. Like, we're on live chat every day. So if you want to get me on live chat, get me there. This is not the place for support. Okay, PCmoneymaking.com. Go there for support. They will help you. Okay, very cool. Now, the direct response, you'll notice in the tabloids and the markets and everything like that, you're going to notice that there is advertorials. Okay, advertorials are the gravy train. So what I want everyone to do today is when you go get your stuff to cook for dinner at the grocery store, pick up some of the tabloids, all right? I get embarrassed when I pick them up because I'm like, I really don't care about the content. I only read them for the advertisements. Honestly, I'm only reading them for the advertisements. And I'll pick up those periodical magazines, and, sometimes they're like, whatever, the Pope has an alien child or whatever it says, some crazy stuff, right? And we all know it's not true. But at any rate, those magazines get like the highest readership in the country. Like tons of people read them, tons of people look at them, which tells me as an advertiser that, hey, the advertisers that are there, that stay there for a long time, are probably making a lot of money, or they're crazy and just like to waste money. Okay, the former is probably true. Right? They're making a lot of money. And what you'll notice is there's lots of things called advertorials. Now, what is an advertorial? Well, an advertorial is a piece of content designed at selling a product or getting a customer to take an action. Call a phone number, fill out a form, mail something in, anything like that. Okay, it wants an action. So again, we're back to direct response marketing, right? That's what it is. We're back to direct response marketing. And we look at that and we're like, okay, cool. So advertorials, if you were to look them up, do a search, go get those tabloids, look up the advertorials, what you'll see is it'll be something like a housewife finds out how to get extra energy throughout the day while losing weight or something like that. And it's like a story and it talks about something and then it sells something at the bottom. Okay, really cool. Now, the reason that they call them advertorials is because they were so effective running them as regular ads that people couldn't distinguish them from the actual magazine. So they'd be reading along and they're like, oh, well, the National Enquirer must have wrote this today. Let's see. Wow, it's got to be true because it doesn't look like an ad. Okay, that's the key number one. Don't make your ads look like ads, right? We're not in the business of like a newspaper where it just has an ad on it. We're in the business of conversion, getting as many people as possible to take action on our blog post. And in this call, we're going to show you how I build a blog post. We're actually going to go through, I got a topic, got everything set up here, and we're going to show you how it works. So really cool. We're not in the business of just putting information out there. We're in the business of persuading people to the point of view that leads to things that we sell. Okay, very, very, very important. I want you to look at that. When you sit down to write content, you're not just doing it for content's sake. You're doing it to persuade people to a certain point of view that leads them into your product. So if I say, maybe something about like how you can't lose stubborn fat, right? I would talk about this, and I talk about how, tribes eat grapes and lose weight. And obviously I'm making this up, so don't like bank on the fact that grapes make you lose weight. I have no idea. But I'd talk about this, and then I'd point out some things, and everything's going to be true, right? I'm going to do the research to make some true arguments, and then at the end I'll say, this is the best diet that I've found based on the information you found above, or something like that, right? So we're going to go through and we're going to paint a picture. Every piece of content needs to paint a picture, whether you're teaching someone to do something. Here's how to convert a Word document to a PDF. First, you want to do this. Second, you want to do this. Third, you want to do this. If you want to do all this easy, download the PDF toolbar right here. Pretty easy, right? Put some images, stuff like that. Very simple. Again, it has to lead to what you want. So let's take a look at this. Let's go deep into how to write the perfect blog post for profit. Now, you're going to look at this, and some of you guys will be writing articles for search engine stuff. Same thing. Even your search engine ranking needs to be a direct response style piece of content. If you're doing social media, it's got to be direct response. Everything you do needs to lead people to go back to you all the time. Very important. That's why when we're here, like you guys look at this and you're like, wow, Marcus is really cool hanging out with us, giving us some content, showing us how to write a blog post. What a swell fella. But at the end of the day, I'm here to sell you something, right? That's how it works. It's like, that's why we're doing this. I don't do these just out of the kindness of my heart, although I do enjoy them, and I like talking to a lot of you guys, which is a benefit of my job. But I do them to sell something. I do them to persuade you to my ideas that my stuff works, and if you sign up for it, you'll get the results, or whatever it is, right? Does that make sense to everyone? Type results in the box. Very important. Right? And a lot of people come on and they watch my webinars and they're like, Marcus, I really want content and I don't want sales. And I'm like, and you want to be a marketer? Really? You want to be a marketer, but you don't like sales? Well, I can't really help you there because marketing is sales. Very important. We got to look at that. We got to focus. We got to understand it. Okay? Very, very, very important. And let's see if I could do something here. Cool. So I'm testing out a new moderator, someone who works for us here. So we'll test that out. Chelsea, if you see the monitor thing or the moderator, let me know. All right, so that's the deal, right? If you don't like sales, learn to like sales. Okay, now if you don't like sales, it's because you have this bad taste in your mouth from like a greasy salesman who tried to sell you something you don't want. That's not what we're doing. There are plenty of people on earth who want products that you can sell effortlessly. Super effort. You're just like, dude, here it is. Right? Like you go in there and you see the car salesman trying to sell Toyotas. He's busting his butt to sell sales, and he gets a couple sales, and the dude at the Ferrari dealership sits there and eats chips until some rich guy walks up and he's like, I'll buy that right now. Very important. Now, Craig says, I like sales but don't like getting sold. Okay, well, we got to turn that around because people don't like to be sold, but they love to buy. Okay, think about that. They don't like to be sold, but they love to buy. So how do we frame that? We frame that by getting them to come to the same conclusion as we did. Okay, very important. Like, I come to the conclusion that, hey, my products are going to help you make money. Like, that's the conclusion. I've been doing this 20 years. I know what works. Now, my job is to get you to come to that conclusion, to get you to watch this and say, well, Marcus, hey, you know what? That guy showed me X, Y, and Z, and this is why it works. Nora says people want free stuff. Some people do. Most people don't. If people wanted free stuff and that's all they wanted, then nothing would be sold. Right? So that's like a myth. Like, a lot of people think that it's difficult to give things away. It's actually just as hard to give something away online as it is to sell something. And if you don't believe me, make a website and say, I will give you a free $1, and ask them for their name, address, everything. Okay? And I guarantee you it's probably harder to get people to get a free $1 than it is to sell something that makes sense to people. Okay? Very important. You got to look at this. You got to understand the marketing, because if you don't, then all your content is going to be just wasted away. It's not going to work, okay? So here's another thing that we got to look at. So here's how to write the perfect blog post for profit. We're going to dive into WordPress in this call. We're going to show you how it all works. I'm actually going to create an article content with the intent of getting people to buy stuff so that you can see how it's done, okay? So we're going to create it live on this training. But first, I want you to understand the thought behind it. Because if you get the thought behind it, then everything else is going to make a lot more sense. Now, I have this little layout here because I want you to pay attention to the layout. Okay, I want you to pay attention to it because you got to remember that many people don't want to think. A lot of people don't want to think. This is true. Like, if you watch the news and you watch, like, politics, people look at headlines. If they're like, Marcus fell down, right? They're going to look at that and they'll be like, oh, what does that mean? What is it? Whoa, what is that? Right? They're going to look at the headline. They're not going to read any further, and that's all they're going to do. So we got to understand that many people don't want to think. They want to follow and do what they're told. They want an answer. They want you to go through and say, this is what you are going to get. Here's how to get it. Here's how to sign up. Here's what to do. Okay? It's a basic copywriting principle, because what I'm teaching you here isn't just article writing. It's copywriting. Because every piece of your message needs to point to what sells. Very important. Okay? It's kind of like the old copywriting thing where they say, show them what you got, show them what it's going to do for you, then show them what they're going to get. Okay? Now, we're adding some other layers, as the late Corey Rudel used to say. He would say, educate, inform, and sell more. If you educate your audience, inform them about something, you will make more sales. Hands down. Right? This is about education. Instead of being the car salesman that's like, buy the red one because it's overpriced, we're going through and we're like, hey, man, what's more important to you, family safety or this? This or this? You got to look at it and you got to focus and you got to understand what's going on. Okay? So, tip number 1, many people don't want to think. They want to follow and do what they're told. Many people are reading the headlines. Not everyone is consuming every single word of your article. Most people won't. Most people aren't even reading it. Okay, now, does that say put junk out there? No, put good stuff. But again, speak to them in the headlines. Speak to them in the bold print. Notice here how it's easy to look at. Like, you look at this, my notes here, and you're like, okay, well, this is easy. In part 1, here's what I'm going to get. Part 2, here's this. Here's a warning. Okay, here's this. Right? Look at how the layout works. Okay, so now let's go into part number 1 and talk about why are we making this piece of content. If you don't know why you're making a piece of content, you're just making content because some internet guru told you content is king, which is absolute BS, by the way. You can make a lot of money with a one-page website if you want to. If you don't know why you're making this piece of content, you shouldn't make it. Like, if you have no idea, you're like, oh, man, I just need articles on my website because some guy, that's hogwash. That's not true. So what you got to do is you got to sit down, and you got to, or stand up if you're at one of those standing desks, and you got to stand up or sit down and say to yourself, A, why am I making this content? Why am I doing this? Okay? And we got to say, A, am I doing this for traffic or SEO or social? What am I doing it for? Right? Do I want to rank in the search engines? If I do, it's going to be a little bit different piece of content than if I'm just doing an advertorial to run on paid ads. If I'm doing something for paid ads, that's going to be different than the SEO, or if I'm leading people from YouTube or from Facebook. It's going to be a little bit different. So first of all, you got to say, why am I making this? Am I making it for traffic, for social? What am I making it for? Next, we got to look at this and say, okay, where are people going to come from? Well, if you're making it for SEO, people are probably going to come from the search engines, okay? Or if you're doing it for like sales on pay-per-click or banner ads and paid ads, that's going to be a different way as well. So one of the 4 ways you could look at is, are you making it for traffic, SEO, or social? Are you making it for sales, pay-per-click, or banner ads? Are you making it for your list? A lot of times I will make things just to send to my list, okay? And I'm like, here you go, send this to your list, and boom, there you go, okay? Very cool. So we got to look at that. We got to focus, okay? Spread goodwill. Maybe it's just some content to say, hey, I'm a good guy. I'm helping you out. Here's some ads to buy stuff. Okay, now, D is very important because once you have your why am I making this, you want to say, remember to create your content for repurposing. Okay, you don't want to just write an article once. You want to write it, you want to save it, and maybe you can repurpose it. Maybe you can put it into an infographic or an image and put it on Pinterest. Maybe you could put it into a video and put it on YouTube. Maybe you could put it on Facebook as a post or whatever. You want to go through and you want to say, how can I repurpose this and use it in the right way? All right, Chris says something about the Saturday SEO. Log into your account, affiliatemarketingdude.com/login. Those are in there. If you need help, again, all of us support questions. Go to pcmoneymaking.com. They'll help you out. Really cool. Okay, now part 2. So first of all, why are we making this piece of content? Now again, this is going to go into your niche marketing and everything like that. That's why when you guys sign up for the Simple Sites course, you're going to see that it's laid out in a very specific way, right? If you go in here and you're like, here we are, and by the way, for those looking for the SEO class, it'll show up right here, okay? Okay, so when you go into your Simple Sites, the way that it's laid out is getting started, niche finding, profit centers, traffic plan. This is very systematic. It's a very systematic process. It's designed for you to go through it in order. It takes you by the hand, shows you everything. Okay, the reason we do that is because this is all going to make sense. So you're like, okay, what's my niche? Why am I making my content? That's going to be in part 1. You're going to start to understand it. Part 2, we're going to talk about topic and keyword research. Okay, we got to go through. We got to ask ourselves, A, who's going to be consuming this content? Who's the guy looking it up? Is the guy looking for a PDF, or is the guy looking for politics information, or how to start their car, or whatever? Okay, what are they doing? Who's going to be consuming it? Where are they going to consume it? B, what do I want the reader to do? Now, notice how we're asking all these questions before I write the first letter. Okay, this is important because so many people are like, I'm just going to write content because content is good and whatever. And it's like, okay, content's good and whatever, but like seriously, you need to have a purpose. You need to have a point. There's no like reason. Like you even need to look at news outlets. They make content for the purpose of something. Some of them make content to perpetuate an idea or perpetuate a lie in some cases, right? So we got to look at that. We got to say, okay, well, what do we want to do, right? Are we going to perpetuate an argument about mortgage refinance, or are we going to perpetuate an argument about how to lose weight? Okay, very important. So A, who's going to be consuming the content? B, what do we want our reader to do? C, how are you going to profit from your reader? Hey, how are you going to make money from your reader? Like, what are you going to do? You're going to just write an article and yay, hopefully they'll click a banner ad? Really, come on. That's not the way marketing works. That's the way advertising works, but not marketing. And you're not even the advertiser. The banner ad guy's the advertiser. So you got to really focus on this stuff because you need to rig the game in your favor, and it's very easy to do when you go against most conventional wisdom about blogging where people are making pennies on the dollar, right? You look at my stuff, we're making a lot more per click than a lot of other people with the same traffic, even like sometimes worse traffic. And it works because of what I'm showing you. And if you guys want to learn this, stay on this webinar. It's going to make a lot of sense once we get to it. All right, D, how can you use the art of the spin? Well, Marcus, what is the art of the spin? What is the art of the spin? Okay, well, the art of the spin is known in politics. Okay, so in politics, how many of you guys watch like political debates? Have you guys ever seen a political debate? Type political debate in the box if you guys have seen that. Okay, and I want you to pay attention, and I want someone to tell me what happens immediately on the news after a political debate. Okay, type your answers in the box. Okay, what happens immediately after? This is going to make a lot of sense to you guys. Okay, someone should be able to get it. Okay, they do a review. More specifically, some anchor person gives their opinion. They discuss what goes on. Okay, now I want you to look at what's going on here. Okay, what they do is a lot of people are saying they review it. They go over what was discussed. Okay, that's not exactly true. What they do is they spin it to their point of view. Okay, the whole idea is like, let's listen to what the politicians say, and then let's tell you what to think about it. Like, literally, watch this. They'll go through, and there's a lot of political debates coming on. You can learn how it works. And they go to the spin room, and they're like, well, you know, this guy said this, but we think that's a bunch of crap. Bob, what do you think about that? Well, Bob, everyone's named Bob, apparently. You know, I think that, is never going to work. They're never going to have the money to pay for that, and, blah, blah, blah. And they try to spin it. And they spin it to what they want you to think. Now, as ethically questionable as that is, we're talking about doing that in a good way to help people out. Okay? So we got to look at that, and we got to look at the art of the spin. So the definition of spin is in public relations and politics, spin is a form of propaganda. What's propaganda? Propaganda is propagation of an idea. You're propagating an idea. This video could be a form of propagating people to my idea of making money online. Same kind of thing. Now, propaganda used by big governments and stuff like that, not exactly a good thing. But the nature of the word, you guys get the idea. Okay? And like Louise says, most controversial news makes headlines. Exactly. They are putting in front of you what they want you to see. That's what you're doing on your blog. Okay, you are in control. Like, no one is saying, hey, you got to write about these things, man. I need 500 articles on my desk by month. No one's doing that, right? So we got to look at this. So spin in public relations, and I've studied propaganda and spin for years. I think it's a fascinating topic. I think it's used very bad by some people, but I think it's actually pretty fascinating. And I think if you study it in the terms of marketing, you'll learn a lot, and you'll also learn behind the scenes of what we believed all our lives, which is kind of interesting. So spin in public relations, spin is a form of propaganda achieved through providing a biased interpretation of an event or campaigning to persuade public opinion in favor against some organization or public figure. So basically, that's like what the spin room does. They're like, hey, I know you just listened to stuff and thought about it on yourself, but let me tell you what to think about it. Okay, now, interesting stuff. Now, I'm going to give you a warning here because what I'm going to teach you is very powerful and it works, and I want you to use it ethically because a lot of people in our culture and our society don't use it ethically. So the warning is always do this ethically and morally. Sites spinning facts or making things up are not good, and in some cases, may be breaking ethics codes or FTC laws. You see this all the times. It makes my skin cringe because you see these people on Facebook and they just like, hey, man, I made $19 million last week and I only invested a penny with old Jane Rendezvous. Here's her Skype address. And it's like, really, dude? Like, do you know how many code violations you are in by, 1, lying, 2, propagating a scam, and 3, going after and making up facts, right? Kofifi, I think, is what made up facts are called. All right, so that's your warning there. Part number 3, make your outline. Okay, so now, after all this stuff, after all this, we're like, okay, why am I making this content? What am I doing? Okay, here's my keyword research. 3, make your outline. So let's take a look at this. Let's go through and look at how it works. Now, I'm going to be working on a site that I got the domain to, and I really want to kind of use this site to like sell stuff and educate people, okay? This site, you can follow along with me, is incomeinequalitystatistics.com. So the idea here is to go after the keyword for income inequality. Now, you can see on the Google AdWords tool that there is a lot of people searching for economic income inequality, income disparity, economic, all this stuff. Okay, so a lot of people searching for this. It's a pretty good niche. Competition is nothing. Yay, we like no competition. We love no competition because that makes our job a lot easier and cheaper to get traffic. Okay, you could look at it, and if you go for income inequality, you could search for this on Google, and we could see what is going on. Boom, income inequality. So you got some news reports here. No advertisers. Okay, no advertisers. Got some videos. Okay, a couple of advertisers here. So Reddit's advertising. That's a blanket bidder. That's like, don't have to worry about it. YouTube, that's a big bidder as well. So not a lot of like solid advertisers there. So it's going to be pretty inexpensive. Let's also check Bing and see what's going on here. Income inequality. No advertisers. No advertisers at the bottom. There are no advertisers on Bing for income inequality. Good. So we're going to look at this, and we're like, okay, so the word looks pretty good. There's a lot of traffic. There's very little competition here. So I think making a good article, a good site, teaching people about income inequality would be a good thing. Now, again, we're going to go through our list. We're like, okay, why am I making this piece of content? Well, I want to get traffic. I probably want to get some free traffic. I might do some Facebook and social media stuff as well. Okay, so those are what I'm looking at. Okay, 2. What's our keyword research and our topic? Now, first of all, I'm not going to go through and go for income inequality because that is a little bit competitive. So if we do Google and we're like income inequality and we're like, okay, we got 6 million results there. In quotes, without quotes, we have 84 million results. That's a lot of results. So what we want to do is we want to kind of refine it and get something we can get. So like if we do income inequality examples, okay, we could probably pick some of these terms up. Like income inequality examples only has 1,000. That's pretty good. We also notice Quora's here. If you guys were not on last week's SEO class, we teach you all this stuff about SEO. You can get that at freetrafficdude.com, I think it was, freetrafficdude.com. All right, so we could see Quora's here, so we could get involved in that. We see some images here, some PDFs. Okay, good. So we would go through and be like, okay, this looks like a decent word to get. Now, remember, the searches are low, but this is also tied to a lot of other subcategory searches. Okay, so really cool. We got to look at that. We got to focus. We got to be like, okay, there's a lot of different things here. So if my topic is about income inequality examples, okay, I'm going to go through it and I'll be like, okay, so my topic and keyword, who's going to consume this? People looking for income inequality statistics or whatever. Examples. What do you want your reader to do? Well, ultimately, let's see what we can make him do, right? Let's put our thinking hats on. And how many of you guys have an idea of what you would sell to this market, right? Does anyone know? Like, give me some ideas of what you think would be good to sell to this market, and type them in the box. And let's see if anyone gets the same one that I have. And I think you guys will like the one I have because it's pretty cool. All right. There's actually 2 that I have. All right, type those in the box. Okay, Craig says job search app. No, that wasn't it. Good try, though. I actually thought about that one, but I was like, okay, might be a little bit of a stretch. Okay, taxes, that's one of the ones I had, so taxes is good. What else we got? Okay. Any other guesses? There's a really good one that I like to use for financial, political stuff. A new skill to make more income, perhaps. It's probably a little bit of a stretch. It could work. All right. What I had was gold. Buy gold. You want to beat income inequality, buy gold. It'll stay the value forever no matter what the economy does, right? Kind of cool. And it's an easy sell. So really good. This is the same kind of thing we use for people that are looking up like the cost of the dollar and things like that, and Bitcoin and all that, right? We can get them into gold because it's solid and it works. And People trust it. Okay, so we're going to look at that. That's what we're going to spin them into, as well as some other educational things, maybe some stock market investing. I think there was an offer that I found. Let me see if I can find it again. On Max Bounty that was related to investing, which is good. So investing is definitely good. Things like that, to where it's like, okay, if you're worried about income inequality, here's how to get ahead and things like that. And also like action they can take, maybe vote for a politician or something like that. Obviously, you would have to figure out a way to get paid on that. Let's see here. I think stock. There it is. Okay, so the Motley Fool was the offer. So I'll pull that up in Offer Vault so you guys can see it. Offervault.com or offervault.com. Is it hard to join Max Bounty? No, it's actually really easy. Just give them a phone call and you're good to go. So let's go here. Motley Fool. Okay, we got Motley Fool, and it pays $80 here. Okay, so it pays $80 on a trial subscription, which I think is like 19 bucks, which is really cool. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so 80 bucks I get. It costs the person $19. So it's pretty low barrier of entry for them to buy this, which is good. Okay, so we're going to go through here. We're like, there's our point. Now notice how we have point A and point B. Before we even write the article, we're like, point A is our keyword, point B is what we want them to do. Very important. So we're going to go through and we're like, okay, income inequality, good. We're going to use this as our title. Excellent. Here is our outline. Okay, so we're going to go through and we're going to make our outline. First of all, we got to know our facts. Now, if you're going into a market and you plan on making a market big, okay, so like if I was saying, yes, I want to do the income inequality market and I really want to do that good, I would spend some time doing some research, right? Like instead of watching TV, like go do some research. I guarantee you in 4 to 5 hours, maybe 8 hours if you're slow, you're going to know 99% more than the average person. Okay, very important. This is why a lot of people are like, Marcus, you're so smart. It's like, no, I'm actually not. I just read things. Like I obsess about things, which is probably like a good thing and a bad thing. But when I get an idea or someone says, hey, what about this? I like have to go search it ridiculously. Okay, so I'll spend like 3 days consuming everything I can about that topic. And then at the end of 3 days, I'm like, okay, like people come to me and they're like, what do you think about this? And I have an answer for them, right? So it's kind of like learn about your market. So if you're going to go into a market, if you're like, I am going to be in the weight loss market, consume info about the weight loss market. Start to learn about it. Spend 4 to 8 hours. Like learn the basics of it. Learn as much as you can. Start to understand it. Then what you want to do is you want to find good pieces of content to model. This is called a swipe file. Okay, in advertising, we use a swipe file, which is a file of headlines, a file of ads, a file of all this stuff. Now, you're going to do the same thing with content. You're going to save content that you like that's good. And you guys will notice I like to use the Snagit program, and I'm always getting snips of content, right? Always. I'm like, boom, there we go. I make little snips of content, everything like that. And I save them in there, and I use them all the time, okay? So we're going to make an outline. We're going to go through, and we're going to go to our WordPress dashboard, and we're going to go to our page. This is our sample page, which is going to be the first page on our site. Okay, so if you're sitting here and you're staring at this blank page, no longer fear the blank page. The blank page fear is solved by doing research. Okay, that's it. Doing research, doing the steps that I told you above. So now that I know this, right, I'm like, okay, what's my keyword? Well, my keyword is income inequality examples. Income. We'll make that capital. Inequality examples. Boom. Boom, right like that. Now, a lot of people are asking if I do mentoring and everything like that. We actually do a lot of mentoring. I would go over to affiliatemarketingdude.com, click on products. You can learn about that. But wait till the end because we actually are having a live training here in Florida. So if you guys want to come hang out in Florida in April, let me know. Type Florida in the box if that sounds like a good plan. And I got a good video to show you for that as well, which is really cool. Okay, so income inequality examples, we're going to put that up there like that. Now, I'm also going to pair some subcategory keywords, which is good. Okay, so I'm going to go through and be like, what's a good subcategory keyword? Well, we could probably do like income and wealth inequality, economic inequality examples, income inequality and poverty. Okay, so we'll do this. This will be our subtitle. Okay, income inequality examples, income inequality and poverty. Good. Okay, we're going to click update and we'll see what it looks like. Yay, now we have a blank page. Excellent. Good work. All right, there we are. There's our blank page. Cool. Everyone wants to go to Florida. We will have some info on that towards the end, which is really cool. So we're going to go through and we're going to write our content. So now I know my end result. So my end result, I'm just going to put this here. Result. I want them to sign up for Motley Fool. Okay, that's a stock investing kind of thing. I want them end result to get books. Okay, I can cite books. So if I'm writing this article, I could be like, hey, read this book from this person, and this person. Really cool. All right, so we'll go through and we have our end result, and we could do those on Amazon, which is cool. Okay, so we're going to look at this and we're like, okay, now we're going to go through, we're going to do income inequality examples, income inequality, and poverty. Excellent. So we're going to go through and I'm going to start out with a headline. Okay, so how income inequality affects poverty in a nation, and do higher taxes hurt or help the economy? Okay, how many of you guys are like, hey, that's a pretty cool headline. I'd probably read that. Okay, how many of you guys would do that? Type read if you would. Okay, I'll make it even fancier so you'd read it if you were interested in this topic, which you should be interested in this topic because it has a lot to do with what's going on today. All right, so we're going to go here. I'm going to make it red and I make it like that. And you can just kind of see, you could refresh it here and be like, okay, cool. Now, that's a little bit too red, so I'm going to shrink it down a little bit. We'll do like headline 3. And we'll go like this. Do I outsource my blog posts? Yes, oftentimes I do outsource them. But in this call, I want to show you how to do it because even if you do outsource it, you need to understand what I'm telling you, because if you don't understand this, like even if you get outsourced stuff, it's not going to sell. Okay, so like it's your job. Like your job as a business owner is to do the stuff that makes the sales. Their job is just to write your article. Okay, they're just going to write articles, which is like run-of-the-mill whatever. Okay, so a lot of people said they'd read this, which is cool. So how income inequality affects poverty in a nation, and do higher taxes hurt or help the economy? So here's what our page looks like. Okay, boom. Now, again, remember the look of the page. People don't want to come here and focus. People don't want to come here and read a ton of stuff. They're going to skim it and whatever. Someone says taking content from a video for content is illegal. Yeah, you don't want to copy. You don't want to duplicate what other people have done. However, there's nothing that says I can't go watch the top 10 videos, make my own opinion, and make a blog post about it. Right? There's nothing that says that. As long as you don't plagiarize, as long as you're using it for your information, that's good. As long as you're not copying. We don't want to copy. And you don't want to copy anyway, because copying something is not going to lead people to what's going to sell. Right? We got to lead them to what's going to sell. So we have how income inequality affects poverty in a nation, and do higher taxes hurt or help the economy? Okay, good. Now we go through and we're like, okay, let's edit this here. I'm going to edit it from here so I don't overwrite it. Now we go through and we start putting together our outline. Okay, what do I want to say? Well, first, let's take a look, and I like writing my headlines in capital, okay? First, let's take a look at how the USA taxes and income inequality led to the Great Depression, okay? And seriously, you can find this info in like a couple hours. Okay, do your research. Like, this is a job. So if you guys want to make money with internet marketing, treat it like a job. Like, so many people are like, well, I just want to outsource an article and just like email someone and get rich. And it's like, okay, well, it doesn't really work that way. It actually is kind of easy to do, but so many people don't want to do that little 10% effort. Like, how many of you guys right now, if I was like, dude, spend an hour and a half a day and you could probably make a full-time living, how many of you guys would be like, yes, I would totally do that? right? But you got to spend the hour and a half not dicking around on Facebook. You got to spend it actually doing stuff for the marketplace. Direct response. That's what works, okay? So we're going to go through here, and we're like, first let's take a look at how USA taxes and income inequality led to the Great Depression. Okay, now I took some stats just to make this a little bit easier, and I made this little thing here. Let's see if that shows up okay. Looks like it is. Let's make it like that. Okay, so I made this little grid thing the other day. I actually made this because someone was arguing with me on Facebook about this topic, and I was like, well, let me just make a little grid to show you, right? And so I made this grid to show how it works, right? And all I did is I went and I Googled income tax rates throughout the years, okay? And I got the income tax rates. I took a little screenshot there, one here. Got this little thing from ClipArt, got this little thing as well. And if you're worried about like using a chart like this, you can always cite the source, which is cool, and then go from there. And then I got this from, I think it was Wikipedia or something like that to show that. And again, make sure you have the rights to use the stuff if you're questioning it, or cite it as a source if you're using it as part of your stuff, which is cool. Okay, so we're going to go through and we look at this and we're like, okay, how did it affect it? Well, in the roaring 20s, the rich were taxed at a pretty high rate. So like here in the roaring 20s, when the roaring 20s happened, that was an effect of high taxes. So the economy was booming when the taxes were higher on the rich. Interesting, right? So first, let's take a look at income inequality led to the Great Depression. Leading up to the roaring 20s, which was a time of great prosperity in America, we saw that taxes were actually quite high in comparison to what was it? The rates leading up to the Great Depression. Okay, really cool. So we're like, okay, and then we put our stats. So I'll go through and I'll be like, okay, what are our stats here? Our stats are, let's see, we got to get the 1920s here. So we got, put these down here so we could see them. I think that might go away. All right, I'm just going to look over here on this screen. So we're going to go here, and I'll be like this. Okay, so leading up, we'll have 1917, top tax rate was 67%. 1918, top tax rate was 77%. 1919, top tax rate was, and notice how I'm breaking it up so it's easy to read. People are going to look at this and be like, wow, this makes sense. I totally get this. Let's see, so 1920, 73%. And you can actually do this easy if you want to like copy these and just go like this. And then all I would have to do is go like this, 1917, 1920, and then I don't have to type it. So 1920 was 73%, and then 1921 was 73% also. 1922, it starts to drop. All right, so we can go through and be like 22, and it starts to drop. It is at 58%. Wow, what a drop, right? Imagine if taxes shot up to like 58%. People would freak out. Okay, and we could do, you can see here that in 1922, the top marginal tax rate dropped from 73%. Like, how many of you guys can do this? Is there anyone that's like, wow, Marcus, you're a rocket scientist. I don't think I can do this. To 58%. Okay, and I'm actually going to make this a little different here. I'm going to go like this. And then I'm going to get rid of this here. And I'm going to make this bold. Okay, then we're going to continue on. 1923, top tax rate was 43%. Okay. 1924, top tax rate was 46%. Okay. And we can go through here and do, so we're at 1924. And then we're going to go through and say, now, in 1925, everything changed. The lobbyists and wealthy class called for a lower tax rate, and many government officials thought this would help the economy, even though we were in the roaring 20s. Okay, so like they're like, hey, we need a better economy, even though we're in the roaring 20s and we have all the money and everything's great. Okay, so that's what happened. So we look at that, we're like, okay, here we go. Now notice, again, very easy to write, very simple to go through, and we're going through now. In 1925, everything changed. This top tax rate stayed in effect for 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 31. So 7 years. For 7 full years. Leading up to the Great Depression. All right, I got to turn the air on real quick because it's Florida. So we need air. So there we go, right? You guys, this is making sense to everyone? Okay, hopefully it's making sense. So top tax rate stayed the same for 4 years leading up to the Great Depression. What happened due to taxes and unfair regulations was a major shift in wealth to the top 1% of earners in the USA. Okay? This was known as wealth inequality, where one group of, let's spell it right, group of people owned more wealth than most of the entire country. Boom. Now we go through, and we're like, yay. Now I'm going to look up some stats here, and I think I can find some stats. Let's see. So wealth inequality stats 100 years. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up on the other screen because I don't know if I have the rights to these. I probably don't. So we're seeing in the Great Depression, let's see, let's get a better one. Gotta have like 100-year one. All right, and if you guys like this style of webinar where I just go through and show you how I work, let me know. And we can go from there. Okay, I can't find anything right off the bat. Okay. Okay, so we'll continue on here. And we'll go through here. This was known as wealth inequality, where one group of people own more wealth than most of the entire country. So we'll go through, and we'll say after the Great Depression, the country voted in FDR, who was arguably the best president the USA has ever seen. That's my personal slant. Okay, so this country, after this, they voted in FDR, who was arguably the had ever seen, despite many people calling his plans outrageous and socialist. Okay? So we're going through and we're looking at this and we're like, yay, okay, cool. So we're providing some good info. We're giving them some good stuff, and we're leading them to our point of view. How many of you guys right now, just as I'm writing this, you're like, wow, I never thought about income inequality this way. Like, seriously? Is that really how it works? Right? How many of you guys, if you're honest, you're like, I never thought about it this way? Because that's what we're doing, right? We're looking at it, and we're spinning it, and we're saying this is how it works. Now, these do happen to be facts, which is really cool, and it happens to be promoting a good cause, which is really cool as well. So we're going to go here. And that's my spin, the FDR part. But we're not selling FDR. He's not around anymore. What word count did you think? Or what word count do you suggest? Probably like 1,000 to 2,000 words per article. Okay? And a lot of people are saying they never thought about it this way. So I'm actually doing what I'm showing you how to do. Right? Does that make sense? Okay? Does that make sense to everyone? You're like, hey, wow, I could see how it works. And that's what I'm trying to do, is show you how it works in a real world way. Okay? So we're going to go through and we're like, okay, FDR almost immediately upon taking office boosted the top tax rate on high earning individuals to 63%. Okay, so here they are. They went from, they went from enjoying 25%, okay, which was where, yeah, and then it went down to 25%. Oh, I got to add those. Okay, so now in 20, so we're going to go here. We're going to put the 25, 1925, top tax rate was 25%. 1926, top tax rate was 25. So 29 is the only 24, 25%. 1927, top tax rate was 25%. 1928, little redundant, but hey, it works. 28, top tax rate was 25%. 1929, top tax rate was 24%. And then 1930, right here, was 25%. Okay, 1931. 1931. Top tax rate was 25%. Okay? Really cool. So we're like, okay, this is what happened. This top tax rate stayed in effect for full 4 years leading up to the Great Depression. What happened was due to taxes and unfair regulations was a major shift in wealth to top 1% earners in the USA. This was known as wealth inequality, where one group of people owned more wealth than most of the entire country. After the Great Depression, the country voted FDR, who's arguably the greatest president, despite many people calling his plans outrageous and socialist. FDR, almost immediately upon taking office, boosted the top tax rate on high individuals to 63%. We also saw, with the New Deal, many new jobs created and a boosting of the American economy for many years. So much that he was elected 3 times. I think it was 3. Was it 3 or 4? We can Google it later and figure that out. Okay? So there we go. Now, notice these rates stayed the same for nearly, what would that be, 30 to like 80? So that'd be nearly 50 years before political, what would that be, before people came up with the idea of trickle down economics, which was popularized, I can't spell, by the way, in the 1980s by President Ronald Reagan. I think that's how you spell it. Okay? Now, also note that up till this time, many Americans considered this the time America was great. During the 50s, income inequality was low. Yeah, I know you get the point, but we're writing an article, so we got to put it in here, right? The point is writing the article. All right, so also note that up until this, many Americans considered this time was great and inequality was low, okay, which was good. So there was a brief time of inflation during the Nixon years, I think it was. And I can go back and actually recheck this out, okay? During the Nixon years, okay? However, income inequality did not yet skyrocket again till trickle down economics came into the limelight. Okay? So what we're looking at here is we're like, okay, here's my idea. Okay, here's our word. So let's see how many words we're at. We'll just open up Microsoft Word. Okay, Microsoft Office. And we'll go to Microsoft. Where's Word? I'll type it in. Word. Okay. And we'll go right here. And see. Okay, so File, New. And all I got to do is just paste all my words in here. And it'll actually give me a word count. So I'm at 444 words. Not bad. Right? Really cool. Is the source of the information need to be mentioned? Not if you're just doing little snippets like this. However, like I'm going to get into showing you guys how to add quotes. And then we do want to add the source of the quote. Okay? So really cool. All right. So we're at 44 words already. And I've only been working on this, what? Like 15 minutes. And I'm doing a webinar while doing it. So it's not that hard to do. Okay. So really cool. So we go through, however, income inequality did not skyrocket again until trickle-down economics came into the limelight. During the 1980s, the top tax rate dropped. Let's go ahead and get those stats. Tax rates, USA years. Okay. That's not what I want. Tax rates. I know I had my big chart somewhere. Let's see. Images. All. 100 years, maybe? Oh, there we go. Okay, so in the 80s, it dropped to below 30%. Okay? To below 30%. What this did was shift an enormous amount of money to the top 1%. Okay, and then we go on and we talk about all the different things. And notice how this is like really easy to read. I got little sentences, we got bold stuff, we got little chart type things, stuff like that. Okay, and we can also go through, a lot of people have said, what about infographics? Well, if I want to put my infographic in there, I can put this right up top like this. Okay, where did I take this information from? The top tax stuff I took from tax charts. Okay, the other stuff I went through and did research. Like I literally just learned about this because it's a topic I'm interested in. So whatever your topic in your business is interested in, get interested in it and learn about it and be an expert in it. Like if you want to make good money, Do the work that other people aren't doing that doesn't make good money, right? Do the work that they're not doing. Do the extra stuff. Like, a lot of people are going to write about this, but my article is going to be good and it's going to sway opinion, okay? Very important. So we're going to look at that. And we're going to go through and we're going to do our infographic. So we'll just do add media, select files, and then I have it saved on my desktop. And this infographic literally took me about 5 minutes to make. Okay, it's not that hard. So we're going to go here and see where it's at. I think it was called income. Did I not save it? Do you guys see it? Income. Let's save it. Files, save as, desktop, income. Let's do it as a PNG. Maybe that's it. Select file, desktop, income. Where's it going? All files. Refresh. I did save it on desktop, didn't I? Oh, there it is. Okay, so here we go. Like Harold says, if you want success, you need to do 10% more than everyone else does. Exactly. Really cool. AJ says, I'm writing an article on my site right now, about 1,500 words, took me 35 minutes. Exactly. It's not that hard. Right? So we go through here, and we're like, boom, here we go. Now, you can link your image to something, or you could just insert it. So we're going to do large. Always do full size, and then shrink it later. Okay? So we're going to go here, and we're going to scroll this down like that. Okay. And update. So now let's take a look at what this is working. What this is looking like. All right, income inequality examples. Like, look at this. Like, I would read this. Right? So it's like, here we go. Here's this. Maybe make it a little bit bigger. Let's make that a tad bigger. All right, like this. And notice how on my infographics, I always put a link. That way, if they get shared, I get credit. Because I always want credit. Okay. So here we go. And boom. How income inequality affects poverty in a nation, and do higher taxes hurt or help the economy? Here we go. Got our good little words here. Shift to the top 1%. Okay, so we'll go here. Shift to the top 1%. And let's see. I'm just going to exit out of this so I don't edit over top of it. And we'll just click edit. Okay, so now we got this. When the shift happened, major amount of money to the top 1%. Okay? This kept money at the top and forced the closure and unemployment of many government programs. Also, the top 1% could have more than the millions and billions they already had. Okay? So there we go. So we look at this and we're like, okay, let's see. How do we start to get them into the other stuff? So this kept money at the top, forced closure. Okay, and let's see. This kept the money I already had. Now, kept money at the top. Lost my train of thought. Bear with me. Now, many would argue that giving tax incentives to the top 1% is, in fact, what creates jobs and makes our economy, where'd we go? Economy work. So, let's challenge that. Okay? So let's challenge that. Take a look at Amazon, who is one of the largest corporations in America today, boasting hundreds of billions in profit each and every year. Its owner, CEO, whatever they call him, is now worth over $160 billion. And they employ around 500 to 600,000 people in the USA. Okay? Cool. So they employ this, blah, 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 blah. Excellent. Now, what people fail to realize is that this company was made huge by putting other companies out of business. This is known as the Netflix example. Okay, something like that. I don't know. I might have just made up the Netflix example, but we'll look it up later. Maybe it'll be a new thing, right? The Netflix example, where you had a company like Blockbuster who employed 80,000 people in its prime. And now Netflix makes a similar amount, having only, I think it's 2,500 employees. And we could always fact check ourselves later. Okay? Employees. Okay? So really cool. So we're like, hey, there we go. That's the example there. So we could see that this is not exactly true. Now, if you want to learn more about stock investing and how to earn the stock market booms and busts, click here. Okay, so this would lead them to the Motley Fool affiliate offer. So you want to put these in where it makes sense. So now we're talking about like stock type stuff. So I'd plug that in there. Now up here where we're talking about the tax stuff, right? We could go through and we could say, okay, this is wealth inequality. You could go through and you could put something in saying, click here to learn the 7 tax loopholes left for the little guy. Yes, the 99% can save too. Something like that. Okay, does that make sense how we would embed that in there? Okay, and then we just make that our link, so it'd be blue and underlined and everything like that. And then this would be our link as well. Okay, and you can put your link in there just by clicking on this button, and it'll make it a link. Where'd our underline go? Okay, does that make sense? Any questions on what we're going over so far? Okay, so there we go. Boom, boom, boom. Like, this is a pretty good piece of content so far. Let's see how many words we're at. I think it's pretty good. What do you guys think? So we are at 634. So, like, if I spend an hour on this, I can have a good 2,000-word article or something like that. Okay, and then I can embed my stuff. And notice how we're embedding it instead of putting, like, just, hey, you know, here's a banner ad, because a banner ad's not going to convert. You need to convert them within the context of the stuff. All right, so now what we can do if we want to add more words and stuff like that is we can actually go through, edit, and we can add some quotes. Okay, and you could literally just put, here are some quotes from my favorite economic advisors. Okay, and we go through, and I can get some of my quotes that I had. I just put them in a little notepad, right, like this. Stephanie Kelton. If you like this stuff, listen to Stephanie Kelton. She's awesome. Her thing is modern monetary theory, which is really cool. Stephanie Kelton, professor of public blah, blah, blah. Okay, so you could say something like that. Here's her quote. Okay, that might not exactly. That's not exactly a quote, so we'll take that one out. But that was a good one. Okay, here's another good one. Joseph Stiglitz, also really good. The reason the invisible hand often seems invisible is that it's not there. Pretty cool. And he talks about like how free markets aren't really free markets, which is cool. You could get into that as well. Like if you do your research, like you could always have content to put on your site, and you can always get traffic, and you can always make money. And just think about it. Like if you put a good article out and you have a good infographic, people will share this shit on Facebook. Like if you get free traffic, there you go, right? The only true sustainable prosperity is shared prosperity. That's another good quote. I totally agree with that. I hope you guys all agree with that too. So there we go. Let's get another one. Roosevelt. Here's some by good old FDR, Stephen Hawking. So we could literally just put these in here. Okay, here's our quotes. Now watch. Click here to buy or to get Joseph Stiglitz book. We'll just put JS book. Okay? I'm going to put JS just for the sake of time, but you can actually type it out. Okay? Get his book. And then you just put, get this guy's book. Get this other book about FDR. Get this book by Stephen Hawking. You know, a good book by Roosevelt. You could actually get them into audiobooks. Like click here to listen to, what was the one I had? It's a really good one on my phone. I listen to audiobooks all the time. Which, by the way, here's another good one, winners take all. If you want to learn this stuff, get obsessed with your topic. Like, seriously, if you want to make, like, 6 figures, act like you want to make 6 figures. Don't dick around. Don't mess around. Go learn the stuff. Like, when I want to learn a topic, I go learn it, right? Really, really cool. So we go in here, and we got all this stuff. Now we are up to whatever. Let's see. Now we're up to 926 words. Right? So we're going along, and notice how we have these here. This is going to be better than just having banner ads, right? And you could look at these. You can actually find a book that focuses on these. So here's my principle. Taxes shall be levied according to your ability to pay. That's the only American principle. Good. Democracy cannot succeed unless those who express their choice are prepared to choose wisely. The real safeguard of democracy, therefore, is education. Here's where you plug your thing. Get educated, so you can survive if another depression happens. Boom. There's my link to the Motley Fool thing, right? So really, really simple. Like you just go through and you just create good content and you plug the content with your stuff. Now, John says, doesn't Google penalize tons of link inside to other sites? Well, you're only doing inbound links, and there's not that many, right? So if you have links to like books, that's looked at as relevant resources. Now, if I have 100 different junky affiliate links, then, you know, that's going to be junk. But if you have good stuff, if it makes sense, right? You're writing, like so many people forget that we're writing for the search engine, but we're also writing for people. Right? We're writing for people. You got to write for people. Like the people are who's going to buy your stuff. People are the ones who are going to have it. Right? Very, very important. So, cool. All right. Okay, so yes, TX, Stephanie Kelton, that is the economist that I really like. You can watch her stuff on YouTube. And if you want to use it. Can Google tell if it's an affiliate link or just a regular link? They really don't care if you have good content. Like, they don't, like, if I go in and I'm like, top philosophical novels, okay? If I go to, like, which, by the way, I love philosophical novels. I'm kind of a nutcase for those. You're going to see that most of these have links to Amazon. Like, this guy probably has 105 links to Amazon, and he's still ranking, right? I mean, there it is. The proof is in the pudding. So don't look at what other people are telling you. Look at what you see, right? And like John says, he's always been afraid to try. Just start writing. If it sucks, delete it. Very simple. All right, so I'm going to take a 2-minute break. Then we're going to take questions, or actually I think it's a 1-minute break because I have a video here. Then we're going to take questions. So stick around. This break is going to talk to you about our upcoming live meeting here in the Florida. It's the question on everyone's mind. Can spending just 2 days with Marcus teach you to make money online? Well, we believe it can, and that's why on April 15th and 16th, we are going to have a live meeting here in Orlando. So you can hang out with Marcus for 2 full days, look over his shoulder, and learn exactly what it takes and what you need to do to start making money online. So I'll be looking forward to seeing you here in Orlando. Let's make money. All right, so we're back with you. If you do want to join the boot camp, it's a 16-week training course. It comes with a free high-ticket niche, and it also comes with the live meeting. So hopefully we can get this camera angled correctly. Do I know magic? I used to be a magician years ago. That's why I always talk about my magic ads and everything like that. Okay, so simplesitesbootcamp.com is where you can sign up for that. You can see the link here. So let's go through the rest. The rest is part 4, filling in your content, and then adding images and make your layout pop. You would want to go through and you'd want to make all this stuff to fit together based on what you actually want, right? Does that make sense to everyone? And how many of you guys want to come here in Florida? It's really cool. We're going to have like, I think, 15, 20 people here, rented out a giant hotel suite. We're going to hang out, got the laptops, bring the stuff. We're going to hash it out. Like, if you think this is good content, imagine hanging out with me for 2 full days, going through and like, dude, Marcus, show me this, show me that, show me this. Why doesn't this work? How do I do this? How does this work? Right? You're going to go through. It's like a mastermind. Okay. Very, very cool. If you do want to join that, go to simplesitesbootcamp.com. If you are part of a different course, talk to them on live chat. You might be eligible for an upgrade. And if you are eligible for an upgrade, we can get you in that. If you're already signed up for boot camp this year, you can come because that's part of the boot camp. So you don't have to double pay if you're already part of boot camp. All right. Cool. So any questions on content, any questions on what we went over, any questions on boot camp, anything like that, let me know. And by the way, if you guys do go for boot camp, you're going to get a high ticket niche, which is a $9.97 value, which is insane. You're also going to get Simple Sites, Big Profits. You're also going to get 16 weeks of training. You're also going to get to come to the live meeting. And your high ticket niches, if you use this method to build content, you will grow, right? If you get the right keyword and you focus, you will start to grow and you will start to get stuff. And it's really cool. Like, even if you're in a simple niche, like maybe you're in a niche like how to add an order button, right? And you're like this, and you're like, add order button. Okay, if you go to add order button like this, and you see what people search for, they actually do look for order buttons. Let's do just order button, or we'll do PayPal button, right, like this. Okay, and we go through and we're like, okay, PayPal button, 2,400 people, 4,400 people looking up PayPal donate button. Okay, now again, remember how I said our job is to spin it? We don't want to just give them a PayPal donate button. We want to give them the button, show them how to make the button, and then show them why that button doesn't convert and how they need product X to make it convert. Okay, does that make sense? Like, hey, PayPal donate button's great, but some people don't have PayPal, and it doesn't convert that well because it's not based on sales. If you sign up for ClickFunnels here, you'll get a free 30-day trial. You can make a special site to get people to donate based on the high converging stuff, right? Does that make sense? Okay. If it makes sense, type it in the box. Let me know. Okay. Any questions on that? ClickFunnels instead of PayPal, exactly. Or whatever it is you're promoting. Right? I would promote simple sites. Okay, scale of 1 to 10. How good did you like this webinar? Playo, use Bing. All right, so we'll take a couple of questions and then we'll call it a wrap. If you guys do want to come to the Florida thing, I need to know as soon as possible. So definitely go for it. The replay of this webinar will be up right away, so you'll be able to ready to go. The simple sites, we had an issue with a flash update this week, but it is being worked on. So we'll go there. All right, cool. And if you're on a budget and you want to get started with my training and my plugins, like you'll notice I have a lot of plugins on my blogs. Those are part of the mentor program that you can get at marcusmentor.me. If you like my stuff and you're not signed up for anything, go to marcusmentor.me, sign up there. You could get all the stuff. But if you can do boot camp and you can meet me here in Florida, that's the way to go because that's going to be cool. How does the high-ticket niche program work? Basically, what I do is I choose you a niche market based on my training. Okay, so I'm going to find your niche. And I'm only going to find you a niche that I think will work. Okay, it's going to have traffic, it's going to have low competition, and it's going to have affiliate offers. So I'm going to find your niche, and I'm going to buy you a domain name. You guys can see the little ticker there. Those are the domain names from the last high-ticket niches. Okay, so that one was worth $840. And on we go. So, like, I think we had some that were worth like $1,800. Okay? Really cool. So we're going to go there. We're going to get your domain. We're going to build your site. We're going to put all the plugins on it. We're going to get you a logo. We're going to put some content on it, 4 pieces of content. And then you go follow our plan to make money with it. So high-ticket niches are great. But right now, instead of getting a high-ticket niche, get the boot camp because you get one anyway. Right? So you might as well do that and come hang out and get the 16 weeks and everything like that. All right. And by the way, if you get boot camp, that entitles you to go to one conference all year. So if you can't make this one, the next one we have, you can come to that as well. As long as you're a boot camp member within the year, you will get that. David, we did plan the conference 90 days out. This is just kind of a open enrollment to other people as well. Okay. All right, so I think we're all good. How many of you guys are content that you can make content? How many of you guys are confident that you can make content? Chissery says, does high-ticket niche work for people in Canada? Yes, it does. I got lots of Canada students. We got people in India. We got people in Indonesia, China, everywhere. Lots of people doing stuff. I don't know if we have people in China. Yeah. Marcus, the ClickFunnels is with you. I have PayPal already. I don't know what you mean. Is there going to be a live from the camp? We might do a live from the camp because it does fall on it doesn't fall on a Wednesday. We might do a live from the camp. Not sure yet. It will be recorded, though. Stevie, how many pages would you do on that type of site, and would they all have different offers? The offers would depend on the content. So if all the content was the same, then you do that. Okay. What do I teach in my course? Everything. So if you want to learn affiliate marketing, go in the course, and you learn everything from niche finding to setting up your site to going through and finding offers to getting traffic to conversion. Teaches everything. Bob, I don't know what a TerraCube is, but you can talk to us on our PCmoneymaking.com or live chat. I'll turn live chat on for a little bit so we can get you guys squared away, and we'll take it from there. All right, so I think that's about it for questions. Come talk to me on live chat. Let's hang out. Look forward to seeing you at the live meeting, and we'll go from there. So hail to rank your site. Just make good content based on the keyword, just like I did. All right? Make good stuff. In the mentor program, do you get all the toolbars? There's only one major toolbar, but yeah, you do get that. All right, guys, go join boot camp. Let's make some money. Look forward to seeing you here. If you can't make this one, sign up for boot camp. You can make the next one. Get a high-ticket niche or mentor or whatever it is. Get signed up. Let's make some money. Let's build some content. As you guys see, it's not that hard to do. Thanks again. See you in the next call.